So it's Dr. Glenn Davies from Reversal NZ Lifestyle Medicine Clinic and Reverse T2 Diabetes Topor. And I'm here with Connie. Connie is one of Vanessa's sisters, and there's so many of them I won't even try and go through the family tree. But I've been talking a bit about sustainability, and Connie is a master, and I'm just going to get her to talk a little bit about her self-sustaining lifestyle and property. So you've been doing it for 40 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell us where your property is and a bit about it.
Well, we're in Taranaki now, and we have 15 and a half acres, which is bigger than what we've had in the past. But in the past, we've had 1 acre and then an 8 acres. So we've had different size properties and managed to do, you can do different things on different size properties. I don't think you need 15 and a half acres to live.
No.
Yeah.
So are you completely self-sustaining?
Well, I think we could be.
Yeah.
I think I've chosen, we were pretty up north when we were in Aharoa. But I think here we've chosen the best parts of how we lived up there, and we've incorporated other things in to make it a little bit easier. But we could definitely live without shopping.
So how often would you go to the supermarket?
Well, I don't go to the supermarket for me. I go to the supermarket for my husband because he likes some things.
So if it was just for you, would you ever have to go to the supermarket?
I would go to the supermarket every now and again to get toilet paper, to get...
So you don't make your own toilet paper?
No, I don't bother with it. I would get, occasionally you might need to get some salt or natural salt or something. There's different things that you can use in your cooking that, I'm not going to bother making or collecting from the sea, But, so there is definitely some things that you would want to shop for. But I'd probably shop once every 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And when I shop, I probably spend $200 to $300.
Right.
But I don't have to. If I actually bought what I needed, it wouldn't actually be that much.
Okay, so you've got your gardens.
Yeah.
You've got a milking goat, a milking cow.
Mm-hmm. Fruit trees. I make my own soap. I make my own cider vinegar. We have our own butter. Make our own yogurt, cheeses. The garden, we eat fresh from the garden, basically. I used to do a lot of preserving. I still do a little bit, but I don't need to. There's only 2 of us now. We used to feed like 15, and we lived pretty self-sufficiently. But we did a lot of bottling and other things then. We do it without sugar. Like, we've never used sugar in our bottling. I think the important thing, what I've learned through all these years, is keeping things really simple. And the things that are simple you do, and you do regularly, and you do easily, and you can incorporate them into your life. If it's too difficult, it might not be something you do very often, and so you don't do it. So most of the things I do are very simple.
Okay, so we're going to focus on the cow, the goat, and these products here, which is feta, and what's this one? Pannier. So tell me about your goat and your cow and your calf and how you manage all of that.
Well, the goat, at the moment I'm just milking a goat. My cow's due to calf soon, so I'll talk about the goat. I've got a very good milking goat. I've got 4 goats, so 2 nannies, and one of them has babies on it, which we rear to eat. And the other one I milk. She hasn't got babies on her. So I milk her every day. It's like 4 litres I get from her every day.
So 4 litres, that when you told me that earlier, that just astounded me. You get 4 litres per day from
one goat.
From a goat. How much does a cow produce?
Oh, well, I only have Jersey cows because I like Jersey cows. I like A2 milk, and I also like lots of cream. Yeah. Jersey cows are cream, and so because I want to make lots of butter. And when she first calves, my cow would produce about 20 litres.
So I just found
every day.
I find that astounding. That is a lot.
Yeah, and it will go down. Like at first they produce more, and then it goes down a little bit. But she would keep producing at least 16 litres for a long time. So when you keep a calf on, you can feed a calf, and you can milk what you want.
Yeah, so that really impressed me. So when you go away, you just leave the calf on, so you're not tied to the property. No. You're not having to milk every day if there's a calf.
I have done it so many different ways, and if I'm going away, I will, if the cow's producing too much milk, I'll put 2 calves on her so that cow will be fine and still keep up the quantity of milk that I want. And then when the calf, so every now and again I will have a break because I make heaps of butter, freeze it, you know.
Yeah. So you're making butter what, most days?
I would make, if I've got the cow, I would get a AG jar of cream at least, you know, probably a little bit more every day, so it makes about £1 of butter a day.
Yeah. And then you freeze that.
Yeah, I just roll it in a ball and throw it in the freezer.
I'm going to ask you about the crop swap because that's really interesting. But let's just talk about these 2 products here.
Yep.
So tell me what's Pannier?
Pannier, it's sort of like an Indian cheese. It's a really good medium, similar to Pet's halloumi, or it's really easy to make. It gets rid of a lot of milk quickly, because I would use, I usually make my pannier from like 3 litres. I don't need to eat it, but...
That's it. Just describe...
Oh, yeah?
Like, describe the taste?
I don't know, you describe it. I think...
A bit like tofu?
Yeah, I think it's a medium. I class pannier as a medium. Like, I would grate it and use it in frittatas instead of flour. It's a really good protein. Really good in curries. You can fry it like you do halloumi, you know, and put it over salads. I would probably do something with it more than eating it just like that.
Okay.
Feta is a little bit different.
So we're just going to try the feta now.
Yeah, the feta, and this one's unsalted, or you can salt it. You know, you can put oil and herbs over it. There's a lot of ways you can do it.
So this is the feta.
Both pannier and feta are super easy to make. Super easy to make.
Such a different flavour.
Yeah.
So what's the difference in feta?
The pannier, when you make it, you just heat your milk to boiling, and then you add vinegar or lemons or limes. You know, you squeeze your lemons and limes, and then you add either vinegar or lemons. If you've got lots of lemons, I use lemons, but when you haven't got lots of lemons, you can use vinegar. Just maybe 3/4 of a cup to 3 litres, around 3 litres. I've got a big pot, I just fill up the pot. And then it separates, and then you scoop it out into mesh. You know, I've got a containers I use, and just let it drain, and that's it. And then you can press it, or you can just flip it over and drains from the other side, and I leave it for a few hours draining, and basically that's it.
So what have you done differently to make feta then?
So feta, you heat the milk just to blood, like about 30, 38, 39, and then you add some culture. So I get my cultures from the New Zealand cheese shop. They last for ages. You put them in the freezer, a little container. You can buy them online. And you just put just a little bit. You don't have to have culture. You can make it without it, but I like the culture. I think it really makes it that little bit.
Yeah.
It's really good. And then you add a little bit of rennet. So I use a vegetarian rennet. I get from the cheese shop too, minute amount. So I have, you know, a little bit, put it in water, and then you just stir that, and then you just let it set. Then you cut it, and let it sit again, and then you drain it, and then that's it. You know, you really drain it, and you've got... So both of them are very, very simple. Both of them I do in my daily tasks. Like, it's something I do.
But you do get up at 3:30 in the morning.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I if I go to bed really early, sometimes I wake early, but we do get up early though. We are sort of like 5 o'clock people. We like the morning. We go to bed early at night. So we are morning people. If it's still dark, I will do things inside, and then I go out and tend to the animals, chickens, milk the goat, move the horses, pick up lots of horse poo for the garden. You know, I have my little routine. I weed 20 minutes a day. That goes into the chicken house. My chickens are free range, but I still throw a lot of stuff in there. So I have my little sort of thing that I do in the morning, and I love it. And I like doing it early. That's cool. I've probably done all my things that I have to do by 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's then cool, you know, you can get on and do other things.
Yeah.
If you want or not.
Now, we're just going to go on and talk briefly about crop swap, because you get a whole lot of stuff or produce that's available, you know, that's all at once, and you can, so tomatoes, for example, you can bottle them, But if you've got excess tomatoes, for example, what would you do?
Well, I do something with everything we've got. We've got loads of fruit trees. I've got loads in the garden. I have a few kids, so they get bits from us. But crop swap in Taranaki is fantastic. There's lots of crop swaps. And so you take your surplus of anything and, you know, it all goes on a table at a certain time. Like if crop swap starts at 10 and then you get there, you put your stuff on the table and then you walk around and see what you might want from that crop swap. And then at 10:30 they ring a bell and everybody just helps themselves off the table until it's all gone. They don't want anything left. And so when you go, you know, you're taking something you don't want and you're taking something home you do want. And it's fantastic. Some people do preserves, some do seed raising, some make baking, some take, honestly, there's so much variety in what goes. For me, I tend to take a lot of cheese and goat's milk and things like that because it's very sought after. So it's always a very good thing for swapping. People really want it. And I have lots of it. So, you know, it's an easy thing for me to take, but I also take lots of other stuff because we have a lot of other stuff to take, you know.
And then because you've virtually got everything, what do you
we haven't got
take
everything
for yourself?
We used to have bees on the property, but we don't do bees. We've got someone close by that does bees, so I don't really want to do bees. And my
so you
husband
might
doesn't
take
want to do
honey.
bees.
You might
I might take
honey.
honey, or I get a lot of my seedlings from there. There's a lot of really good people that do seed raising. So I do my own, but I find I get a lot from there. I'll go there and, you know, and I'll pick up some beetroot seeds, plants, you know, and cauliflower and cabbage, silverweed, you name it. Just lettuce, you know, they're already raised, ready to go in the garden. So I tend to go for things like that because then I don't have to do it at home, you know. It's just something I can use.
And you look really healthy. Do you feel well as a consequence of the way you're living?
I think so. I think I've always felt well. I think it's a really active life. I think you have to be self-motivated, really. You know, I think a lot of things we do, we don't have to do, we choose to do, and I like doing it. I don't see it as work. It's just, and I have a process for lots of things, and I have a lot of things, you know, aren't hard to do, but you do have to do them to get it. Yeah, if you know what I mean. They're not just
got to put the effort in, eh?
Well, you do have to. I mean, butter I do in the kitchen with, so it's not hard. I can just throw it in, and then I can do other things while it's making butter.
I thought you'd have this really cool old-fashioned churn. No,
I don't. I don't. I have done that in the past, but like it's can take quite a long time sometimes, and I just actually want it to be something I can do easily in my life, and so I choose to use modern appliances for some things to make my life work. And people say, oh God, you do all those things, but it really actually isn't that
you
hard.
get it all done by 8 a.m.
Well, I mean, I make kombuchas and kefir and everything's a process, but it's not a big process if you're doing it in your life.
Gotcha. Hey, so you've got 15 acres. Mm-hmm. A lot of people live in apartments in Auckland. Is any of the stuff that we're talking about applicable if you're in?
I think if I lived anywhere, I could do something. I mean, you can container grow. You can get pods now that you could have on a patio. Those, you know, and you can grow a lot of those.
Probably can't have a cow.
No, but you could go to Crop Swap and get stuff, or you could go to, like, we have Dolly's, and we have a couple of places where you can go and get raw milk. Raw milk's good to use for lots of things. I think you don't need a big area. I could I wouldn't probably have a cow on half an acre, but I could have a goat. A goat doesn't need a lot of room. They eat a lot of clippings of things, and you can feed a goat and give it some hay. It just needs a little area that you can let it go in with a house, but you could actually feed them and tie them up in areas where they're not close to your trees quite easily. I could deal with a goat in quite a small area. A cow I have done in a small area, and it was a little bit hard because you had to graze at other people's places and things like that, so it was a little bit harder. But I think if I lived in town,
I could just
if
imagine
I lived in the city, I would be definitely part of a community garden. There's just no two ways about it. The community gardens in New Plymouth, I go to anyway and help out a little bit anyway, but I think I would be involved in a community garden. And that way you can get everything in a different way.
I'm just having this humorous picture of you with your cow in the city, wandering to your neighbours to tie your cow up on their front lawn. So it might not quite work out.
No.
Hey, Connie, that's
right.
awesome. We're just going to sort of finish off now. But what you've taught me is that we're sort of doing a little bit, but there's a long way that we could be going, and it takes a bit of planning, a bit of daily effort, but it doesn't have to dominate your life entirely. You can make it part of your life. It doesn't have to be all that you do.
Oh, I don't think so at all. I think when you do a little bit often,
Yeah.
is the way, and not to overdo things. I used to grow too much.
Yes.
And you just have so much, too much. You know, I still grow too much, but I definitely try not to.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know.
Cool. Hey, well, thank you, Connie. We're going inside to have a little bit more pannier. Is that right?
Yeah.
Pannier and feta. So thank you. I find that fascinating. You've inspired me to do more than we're currently doing. So thank you very much, Connie.
More and less.
I love it. More and less. See ya.